akandamandalakaram yattam yena characharam tatpadam dashitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Agyanati mirandasya jnana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sarvadam Jangalam Yakam Yatkinchit Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Babaji Yati Yat Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tatparam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sarvashruti Shiroratna Virajita Padambujaha Vedantam Bhuja Suryoya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chaitanya Shashvata Shanto Vyomatito Niranjanaha Bindunada Kalatita Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jnana Shakti Samadhuda Tattvamala Vibhushitaha Bhuti Mukti Pradatasha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Aneka Janma Samprapta Karma Bandha Vidarine Atmajnana Pradhanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shoshanam Bhava Sindosha Vyapanam Sarasampadaha Guru Padodakam Samya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Na Guru Radhikam Tattvam Na Guru Radhikam Tapaham Tattvajnanat Param Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Manata Shri Jagannatha Madguru Shri Jagadguru Mamatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Guru Radhiranadisha Guru Paramadevatam Guru Parataram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Saka Tvameva Tvameva Vidyadravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Tumi Bhagavan mere Satguru Swami Vishwananda. Tumi Bhagavan mere Satguru Swami Vishwananda. Oh, Tumi Bhagavan mere Satguru Swami Vishwananda. Bhagavan mere Sadguru Swami Vishwananda. Tume Bhagavan mere Sadguru Swami Vishwananda. Mana Mandira mein Gurudeva Premavata.
Mana Mandira me Gurudeva Premavata.
Gumi Bhagavana mere Sadguru Swami Vishwananda.
Gumi Bhagavana mere Sadguru Swami Vishwananda.
Tumi Bhagavana mere Sadguru Swami Vishwananda.
Tumi Bhagavana mere Sadguru Swami Vishwananda.
Mana Mandira me Gurudeva Premavata.
Mana Mandira me Gurudeva Premavata.
Come to the temple of my heart, Premavata.
Come to the temple of my heart, Premavata.
Tumi Bhagavana mere Sadguru Swami Vishwananda.
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 Mana Mandira me Gurudeva Premavata.
Mana Mandira me Gurudeva Premavata.
Mana Mandira me Gurudeva Premavata. Mana Mandira me Gurudeva Premavata. Come to the temple of my heart, Premavata. Come to the temple of my heart, Premavata. Tumi Bhagavana mere Sadguru Swami Vishwananda. Tumi Bhagavana mere Sadguru Swami
Vishwananda.
Tumi Bhagavana mere Sadguru Swami Vishwananda. Tumi Bhagavana mere Sadguru Swami Vishwananda. Tumi Bhagavana mere Sadguru Swami Vishwananda. Tumi Bhagavana mere Sadguru Swami Vishwananda. Mana Mandira me Gurudeva Premavata. Mana Mandira me Gurudeva Premavata. Mana Mandira me Gurudeva Premavata. Tumi Bhagavana
Sadguru Swami Vishwananda.
Om Avatara Shishaya Namaha, Om Vishamaya Namaha, Om Devakarya Samajataya Namaha, Om Sukshmatave Namaha, Om Chinmayaya Namaha, Om Gurumurtaye Namaha, Om Sundaraya Namaha, Om Sulochanaya Namaha, Om Sumukhaya Namaha, Om Charvasaya Namaha, Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Padmabhujaya Namaha, Om Mandagamanaya Namaha, Om Charvaradharine Namaha, Om Ramaya Namaha, Om Mandira Sarvakaya Namaha, Om Shri Vavachakaya Namaha, Om Jayatriyajvane Namaha, Om Arpanasiddharkaya Namaha, Om Vishnu Pujakaya Namaha, Om Namo Narayana Mantrupasakaya Namaha, Om Saramayaya Namaha, Om Madhurakantaya Namaha, Om Krishna Sankirtana Rupaya Namaha, Om Stotrapriyaya Namaha, Om Nitavashine Namaha, Om Bhakmine Namaha, Om Chitakala Visharadaya Namaha, Om Rataraya Namaha, Om Sadave Namaha, Om Jagatpantaya Namaha, Om Sarvalokahitaya Namaha, Om Bhaktapriyaya Namaha, Om Surdaya Namaha, Om Anukulaya Namaha, Om Neyaya Namaha, Om Sudarshanaya Namaha, Om Bhaktavatsalaya Namaha, Om Premamurtaye Namaha, Om Subekshanaya Namaha, Om Pritivardhanaya Namaha, Om Swastidayakaya Namaha, Om Tarakaya Namaha, Om Anugrahaya Namaha, Om Vardhanaya Namaha, Om Arshitaya Namaha, Om Artaya Namaha, Om Siddhipradaya Namaha, Om Janardhanaya Namaha, Om Manoharaya Namaha, Om Mahakshaya Namaha, Om Siddheshwaraya Namaha, Om Bhasmabhushitaya Namaha, Om Atmaningaya Namaha, Om Nigarshana Protsakaya Namaha, Om Siddhisadanaya Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Karupasakaya Namaha, Om Sukshmaya Namaha, Om Vishokaya Namaha, Om Sadvikaya Namaha, Om Samadarshine Namaha, Om Dakshaya Namaha, Om Achintyaya Namaha, Om Nirankaraya Namaha, Om Nirmohaya Namaha, Om Avyagraya Namaha, Om Chitakrodaya Namaha, Om Vinayashilaya Namaha, Om Savashaya Namaha, Om Kushalaya Namaha, Om Shamaya Namaha, Om Satyadharmaya Namaha, Om Nirvikalpaya Namaha, Om Viraktaya Namaha, Om Atindraya Namaha, Om Satyasandaya Namaha, Om Pavitraya Namaha, Om Madhurasvabhavaya Namaha, Om Suranandaya Namaha, Om Nandanaya Namaha, Om Prasanmane Namaha, Om Bhaktraniraye Namaha, Om Sakshaye Namaha, Om Samatmaye Namaha, Om Sarayogine Namaha, Om Haraye Namaha, Om Sutapaya Namaha, Om Somyaya Namaha, Om Guyaya Namaha, Om Vimuktatmaya Namaha, Om Gabiraya Namaha, Om Guptaya Namaha, Om Atmaramaya Namaha, Om Srinivasaya Namaha, Om Devaya Namaha, Om Dhutidaraya Namaha, Om Danyaya Namaha, Om Gurave Namaha, Om Duratikramaya Namaha, Om Gyanaya Namaha, Om Bhagavate Namaha, Om Arisharana Margadashakaya Namaha, Om Kutasya Jagartakaya Namaha, Om Abhiprayaya Namaha, Om Sarvamata Samatyaya Namaha, Om Shamaikata Balavardakaya Namaha, Om Premavatara Sri Vishwananda Swami Namaha. Ato Deva Avantuno Yato Vishnur Vichakrame Pradivya Sapta Dhamabhi Idam Vishnur Vichakrame Tredani Dade Padam Samudamasya Pagum Sure Trini Pada Vichakrame Vishnur Gopa Ada Avyaha Tato Dharmani Dharyane Vishnu Karmani Pashyata Yato Vritani Paspashe Indrasya Yujasaka Tad Vishnu Paramam Paragum Sada Pashanti Suraya Digaiva Chakshuratatam Tad Vipraso Vipanyamo Jagru Vagum Sasamidate Vishnuryat Paramam Padam. Premavattaraya Vidmahe Satgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodayate. Om Premavattaraya Vidmahe Satgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodayate. Om Premavattaraya Vidmahe Satgurudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishwananda Prachodayate. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nivigram Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Govinda Karyeshu Sarvada. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Diyo Yona Prachodaya. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Diyo Yona Prachodaya. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Diyo Yona Prachodaya.
Shri Krishna Vishnu Madhusudana Keitavare Narayana Achyuta Trivikrama Chakrapane Deityadi Sarjadara Shridhara Vasudeva Gopala Krishna Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Rukmini Shabhavanasa Hare Murare Radesha Gopesa Swarupa Brahmadi Vandya Shri Dvarakashya Vaikuntha Pate Bhuvaneka Murte Gopala Deva Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Ninakrute Kamatarupa Varaha Murte Tre Vikramaya Guhane Rama Rama Shri Rama Krishna Yadunandana Kalpirupa Gopala Krishna Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Govinda Madhava Mukunda Parat Paresha Damodara Jadarananda Kadari Shori Gopa Gopi Jana Samrita Dina Bando Gopi Jana Priyaraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Radhishayen Bhujagari Patalpashayen Sadbhaktarit Sadanashayen Ramangashayen Shri Gopavama Mrudatalpa Sutarishayen Gopa Vallabharaye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Kashyapatri Sukanarada Gotamadi Brahmarshi Sangamani Sangava Bharateshoho Tishtanti Devata Vadarshana Bhagya Hetoho Gopala Shekararaye Tava Suprabhatam Mandara Jari Tulasidara Malikadyahe Malyani Anjali Pute Samudaranti Tishtanti Tvatbhavata Dharatale Munindraha Radha Manohararaye Tava Suprabhatam Vedatrayam Patati Gotama Gana Guyaha Gayanti Sadguna Gano Varadasa Vargaha Sankirtayanti Tava Nama Kada Visheshaha Shri Naradadi Rashaya Tava Suprabhatam Govardhanodharana Gopa Kishora Gopa Gopi Janamrita Suvesha Bhavadi Pota Trilokya Mohana Sumangala Divya Deha Shri Rukmini Savarada Tava Suprabhatam Shri Vatsachina Sharanagata Parijata Bhakti Vanjana Kripa Karadina Bando Dityanta Gayati Jana Priya Divya Rupa Shri Nanda Gopatanaya Tava Suprabhatam Padmaksha Padma Mukha Padma Dara Prameya Padmalaya Sarita Padma Nivasa Shori Padmodbhavati Surasevita Pada Padma Padmadinata Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Vrindattale Viharanaya Mahendra Bandhya Kandarpadarpa Haratinya Sudesha Rupa Chandrananaya Sida Chandana Lipna Deha Govinda Yadavaraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Nandanandana Yashoda Kumara Dhira Mayangadina Davichona Supushpahara Nilam Buddha Susharira Rama Vihara Gopala Deva Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Vashi Janmavati Satya Suganti Badra Shri Mitra Vinda Divasa Prabhu Putre Kajahe Ishtanti Divya Bhavame Tava Sevanardam Gopi Mana Priyaraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Krishna Achyuta Ananta Mukunda Shori Radha Manohara Janardana Chakrapane Namani Divya Munayurna Nishambhadanti Brahmi Muhurta Samaye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Krishna Suprabhatam Ye Patanti Haharnisham Bhuri Kritan Mahapapan Shri Krishna Grahetu Kram.
Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Kanara Karanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Chintan Mani Prakata Santosha Karpya Viksha Lakteshu Subhati Ravata Detapa Manyam Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Samprita Seva Manam Govinda Mari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govinda Mari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Pavantam Aravinda Dalaya Dasham Paravatam Samasitam Buddha Sundaranam Kandarpa Gotika Maniya Vishesha Shobham Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Alola Chandra Kala Sarvala Marya Vashmi Radnangaram Pramaya Keli Kala Virasham Shayam Chibangalalitam Niyata Prakasham Govinda Mari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govinda Mari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrichimanti Parshanti Panti Kalayanti Shiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadujvala Viranasya Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Advitam Achyutam Anatam Anatarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayum Padam Cha Vedeshu durlabam adurlabam atma bhakta Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami
Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Pantastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo Vayoratampi manaso muni pungavanam Shopyasti yatra padasinya vichinchya tarve Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami
Ekyo pyasodurayucham jagananta kotim Yachakshurasi jagananta chayatanantaha Antararastra pahumantyutanastarascha Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami
Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yadvavapavitariyo manujastateva Samprapya rupa mahima sanayana bhushaha Sutte yameva nigama pratitestuvanti Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami
Ananda chinmaraya samprabhikati patis Tabiryameva nicharupa pradipadahi Goloka eva nivasa akmatma bhuto Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami
Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena Shanta sadeva iradeshu vilokayanti Yaksana sundarama chitra guna svarupam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami
Ramandi bodhishu kalani yamasmatistan Nanastayam makotaho bhakishu kintu Krishna swayam sambhavaram pramana pumanyo Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami
Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yasya prabha prabhavato jagananda koti Kotishvashesha vasudhari vibhuti vina Tad brahmanishkalamanantam ashesha bhutam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami
Maya hi asya jagananta satati surte Trigunyatad visaya vera vidaramana Satvalayam vipara sattva vishata sattvam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami
Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Ananda chinmaya rasatmataya manashu Ya praninam pratipalam smaratam upetya Lidarinena bhuvanani jayati jasram Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami
Golokanamini chadam Tasya Devi Manesha Haridam Struputeshu Teshu Tete Prabhava Nichaya Vividaschiyena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Shishti Shishti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chaye Vayasya Bhuvanani Vivarti Durga Ichanu Rupam Apiyasya Chacheshta Tesha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Shriram Yatati Rati Bhakta Vishesha Yoga Sandayatena Yitata Prabhikasti Etoho Yat Sandutam Apitata Samupanti Katra Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Dipakshire Valita Shantarama Bhupedyam Dipaya Devrita Hetu Samana Dharmam Yastadhige Valita Vishnutaya Vibhati Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Yatra naram chale vedakti saryam chiyadna Nidam ananta jagamanta saroma kupaha Athara shakti lalambaya praran swamurtim Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yasya Nishadakadanam Adabalamya Jivanti Loma Viraja Jagadantanantaha Vishnur Mahasaya Yasya Kala Vishesho Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Vasvandyamasma sakadim tunagachitacha Sayam kayat pramataya apitat pradatraha Brahmanayada sajayat abhiratikatra Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yat pada pallava yugam vidaya jakumbha Danve pramaya samaye sayagadi rajaha Dignan virantamamayasya jagatrayasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Agnir Mahigranayamam Pumaduditasya Karyastamasya Manidasya Jagantrayani Yasmad Bhavanti Vivavanti Vivanti Yamcha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yakshakshuresha Savita Sakala Grahanam Rajasamasa Suramurti Radesha Tejaha Yasyajnaya Pramati Sambrita Kara Shatro Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Dharmo tapapa nicharanti samattamasmi Brahmandikita vivekanti tiyancha jivaha Yata tamitra vivava prabhaka prabhava Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yasvignaropa Matarendra Mahosva Karma Bandhana Rupa Palavaja Mamatanoti Karmani Irnahati Hindu Chabhakti Bhajam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yam Krodha Karma Sanijam Pramayadi Viti Vatsarya Moha Guru Gaurava Sevya Bhagahe Sanchitya Tasya Sadrishim Tanuma Purete Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Kanara Karanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Good morning. We chant Sri Shuktam, Bhu Shuktam, and Nila Shuktam.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Hiranyavarnam Harihim Suvarnarajatasrajam Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jatavedo Mahavaha Tam Mahavaha Jatavedo Lakshmim Manapagamini Yasyam Hiranyam Vindeyam Gamashvam Purushanaham Ashvapurvam Ratamadhyam Hastinada Prabodhinim Shriyam Devi Mupapaye Shirma Devi Shushatam Kamcho Smitam Hiranya Prakaram Ardram Galantim Triptam Tarpayantim Padme Stitam Padmavarnam Tamiyopavaye Shriyam Chandram Pravasam Yasaja Jwalantim Shriyam Loke Devajustam Mudaram Tam Padminimim Sharanamaham Prapadye Alakshmir Menashyatam Tvambrine Aditya Varne Tapaso Dijato Vanaspatistava Vrikshota Vilvaha Tasya Palani Tapasanudantu Mayantarayaschavaya Alakshmi Opetumam Devasaka Kirtischa Manina Saha Pradurbhutos mirastre sminkirtim ridim dadatu me Shutpipasam malam jestam malakshmim nashayamyaham Abhutim asamridim cha sarvam nirnudame grihate Gandhadvaram duradarsham nityapushtam karishinim Ishvarigum sarvabhutanam tamiyopavaye shriyam Manasa kamama kutim vacha satyamashimai Pashunam rupamanhasya mahi Shri shayatam yasaham Kardamena prajabhuta mai sambhava kardamam Sriyam vasayame kule mataram padmamalinim Apasrijantu shringandi chikli tavasame grihe Nicha devim mataram shriyam vasayame kule Ardram pushkarinim pushtim suvarnam hemamalinim Suryam hiranmayim lakshmim jatavedo mahavaha Ardram yakkarinim yastim pingalam padmamalinim Chandram hiranmayim lakshmim jatavedo mahavaha Tam mahavaha jatavedo lakshmim manapagaminim Yasyam hiranyam prabhutam gavo dasyosvam vindeyam purushanaham Yasuchi prayato bhutva jujadal yamanvaham Shuktam panchadasarcham cha shrikama satatam japet Padma priye padmini padmahaste padmalaye padmadalaya takshi Vishva priye vishnu manonukule tvatpada padmam mai sannidasva Mahadevi cha vinmaye Vishnu padmi cha dhimai Tanno Lakshmi prachodayate Om Shanti 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 Bhumir Bhumna Dyor Varinantariksham Mahitva Upastete Devyadite Gnimana Damana Yayadade Ayango Prishnirakrami Dashanam Mataram Punaha Pitarancha Prayan Shuvaha त्रिगुं सदाम विराजति वक्पतङ्गाय शिश्रये प्रत्यस्य वहद्युभिः अस्य प्राणादपानात्यन्तश्चरतिरोचना व्यक्यन्महिषश्रुवः यद्वाह कृदः परो वपमन्युना यदवर्त्या सुकल्पमग्ने तत्त्ववपुनस्तोदीपायमसि यत्ते मन्युपरोपस्य पृथिवीं मनुदद्वसे आदित्या विश्वे तद्देवा वसवश्च समम्बरम् मनो ज्योतिर्जुषताम् अग्न्यं विच्चिनं यज्ञगुं समिमं ददातु बृहस्पतिस्तनुतामिमां नो विश्वे देवा इह मादयन्तम् मेलिनी देवी वसुन्धरा श्रियद्वसुधा देवी वासविः ब्रह्मवर्चसा पितृनागुं श्रोत्रं चक्षुर्मनः देवी हिरण्यगर्भिणी देवी प्रसूवरी सदने सत्यायने सीदा समुद्रवती सावित्रीहानो देवी मायङ्गी महोदरणी महोव्यतिष्ठा श्रृङ्गे श्रृङ्गे यज्ञे यज्ञे विभीषणी इन्द्रपदी व्यापिनी सुरसरिया वायुमती जलजयनी श्रियं दरज सत्यन्दो परिमेदिनी परिदतं परिगाय विष्णुपत्रीं महीं देवीं माधवीं माधवप्रियां लक्ष्मीं प्रियसखीं देवीं नमाम्यच्युतवल्लभां धनुर्धराय विद्महे सर्वसिद्धि च धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नीलां देवी गुं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये गृह्णाहि घृतवती सवितरधिपत्ये पयस्वतिरन्तिरशनो अस्तु ध्रुवादिशं विष्णुपन्यघोरस्येषन सहसोऽयं मनोतां बृहस्पतिर्मातरिष्वोत वायुसन्दुवान वात अविनो गृह्णन्तु विस्तम्भो दिवो दरुणा पृथिव्या अशेषान जगतो विष्णुपत्नी महादेवी च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो नीला प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्।
ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। Jai Gurudev. Good morning, everybody. So today, I wanted to start a new session of topics. So as I was thinking last week, what next to try, because it's always easier if you have a theme for a couple of weeks, then it becomes easier to choose topics. Otherwise, you just pick randomly and see what happens. So as I was reading on the plane last week, I was reminded in some way of one of the first satsangs I gave, and that was about the death of Bhishma and the darshan that Bhishma had in the moment that he left his body. So I was reading about the different aspects of creation, of the Supreme Lord, and how creation is manifested from him. And there's different aspects of the Supreme Lord himself. Even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find different forms. Obviously, the way that Arjun saw Krishna in the Vishwarupa form, he had many arms, many legs. He was ginormous. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's many different aspects of him also, where you see him as usually we see Narayana. This thing just keeps moving. We see Srimad Narayana with 2 arms, 2 hands. But he's also depicted with 4 arms. And he's also depicted with 8 arms. And so as I managed to have more topics with 8 arms, I chose the form with 8 arms. So I want to go through each arm, each weapon, and after I want to talk about each symbol that we can see. Because the Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'll take one example for that, speaks about the importance of contemplating on the Supreme Lord. And actually it highlights, there's a section in where Kapila Muni is speaking, the importance that the yogi should contemplate on each part of the body of the Supreme Lord. So one should contemplate upon each of those weapons that the Lord holds. One should contemplate on his tilakam, one should contemplate on his yellow clothes, on the Kaustuba jewel on his chest, on the Srivatsa sign on his chest, on the Vanamala that he's wearing, the flower garland, on all the different aspects of him. So I actually wanted to highlight or take out each aspect of the Lord and speak about it separately. So the verse that I wanted to take today to start with is from the top left from him. This is the Shankha. So the verse that I chose is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 7, verse 20. And it is in the part of the sacrifice of Daksha. So Daksha is starting the yagna, and actually in the moment that he starts to offer sacrifices into the yagna, he has the Supreme Lord appears to him, which would be nice if that would happen for us sometimes. Been many years doing yagnas and somehow, well, let's see, no expectations. We get to see Guruji, I guess. It's the Supreme Form itself, right? So, anyway, he starts to offer the yagna, and the Supreme Lord appears to him, and this is the vision, the form that he sees, having 8 arms. Yeah? And he says, Shamo hiranyarashano rika kiridayushto nila raka brahmana mandita kundala shaha shankapcha chakra sarachabaga dhasi charma vyagre hiranmaya bhujet eva karnikara. So he says, his complexion was blackish, his garment yellow like gold, and his helmet as dazzling as the sun. His hair was bluish, the color of black bees, and his face was decorated with earrings. His 8 hands held a conch shell, a wheel, a club, a lotus flower, an arrow, a bow, a shield, and a sword. And they were decorated with golden ornaments, such as the bangles and the bracelets. His whole body resembled a blossoming tree, beautifully decorated with various kinds of flowers. Reminds me of a Christmas tree. It's decorated like a beautiful tree, right? So actually, this is also, in a sense, a introduction verse, you could say, about these different aspects of what he's holding. And because every part of his body and every ornament that he has a purpose and has a reason. So even I will do one satsang about the bracelets of the Lord. Right? So we'll dive into each aspect of him. So the verse that I mentioned earlier, and the reason why I wanted to do this is a part in which Kapila Muni, it is in Canto 3, in which Kapila Muni instructs about the execution of devotional service. And he instructs how one should meditate on the Lord. And he says that actually one should meditate on every single part of him and of his body, starting from the feet, starting on the different weapons, the different ornaments, the different decorations and flowers that adorn him, because that will awaken bhakti. Right? So in one example, what he says in Canto 3, Chapter 28, verse 27, he says that the yogi should further meditate upon the Lord's 4 arms, which are the source of all the powers of the demigods who control the various functions of the material nature. Then the yogi should concentrate on the polished ornaments which were burnished by Mount Mandara as it revolved. He should also duly contemplate the Lord's discus, the Sudarshana Chakra, which contains 1,000 spokes and a dazzling luster, as well as the conch, which looks like a swan in his lotus-like palm. And he goes on, actually, with this instruction of meditation on the various aspects of the Lord. So as I said, today I wanted to start with the Shank. And actually the Shank has always been very close to my heart, somehow. Shank, for me, actually blowing the Shank was always a sadhana in itself. And it started when I was young. At the time, I was still young, when I met Guruji. And we built the first temple in Steffenshof. And obviously when you have a temple, you blow the conch. Right? So before we didn't have much, or we didn't even know about the conch. But as we had the first temple, everybody started to blow the conch. And I noticed that everybody had problems blowing the conch. Because you blow the conch, and it's just like a, sometimes it sounds like a, it's terrible to say, like a fart, like a very inconsistent kind of coming out. And so I was very intrigued. I was like, I want to try this. I know my mom had a trumpet at home. She used to play trumpet. I said, it can't be that difficult, can't be that different. I play the trumpet a little bit for fun sometimes, just to blow in it and see what comes out. So I was like, okay, can't be that different, right? There's a mouthpiece, you blow in it, and it should be a nice sound coming out, right? So I was like, okay, I want to try. So I tried blowing the conch, and it was actually a nice sound that came out. I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just beginner's luck. And so I started to blow the conch more often, and people started to give me the conch because I realized I can blow the conch. And there's actually a decent sound coming out. And so in the beginning, people would always give me the conch to blow. You blow it, right? Because the thing is also, right, when you start the prayers, you're the one who blows the conch. If something weird comes out, everybody looks at you. And it's like, it's kind of weird, right? So that's somehow how my, let's say, relationship with the Shank started. And I really enjoy always blowing the conch. And over time, it really gave me a feeling of that it's an offering that you make. It's not just something that you do to start a prayer out of duty, it has to sound nice, but it's actually a form of worshiping the Lord. Because you're the one who starts the prayer, you're the one who calls the Lord to come. You invite him. And I'll share about more at the end why we blow the conch. Right? So, firstly, when we look at the Lord, the form of the Lord, no matter how many arms he has, even if he has only 4 arms, he always has the Shankar Chakra. Right? The other weapons, sometimes they would fall away. Right? It's a bit more difficult to go shopping for clothes if you have too many arms. That's why I guess in the supreme form of the Lord has only 2. Right? Otherwise, you have some problems in H&M or whatever. They have to make custom-made clothes for you. Right? So even if you have only 4 arms, you have the Shankar Chakra also. Yeah, so Shankar Chakra, they are always both there. So when we look at creation, there is also this duality of things. So the Shankar Chakra show the duality of male and female energy, the Shankar and the Chakra. And so we know that actually all of creation is female. So creation is the Divine Mother herself. And so the Shank is the Divine Mother herself, or is connected to Mahalakshmi, or the creation, or manifested creation. So as we also see, the sound that the conch creates is considered as the original sound. As a sound, we would describe it as the Om, but the Om sound is generated from the conch itself. And so it is the beginning of the manifested creation itself was started by the Shank, by the sound. Also, when we look at the description, it was also in Canto 3, of Kapila Muni describing to his mother, Devahuti, how creation manifested itself step after step. After the false ego of the Supreme Lord, the first sound, the first thing that came, the subtle element that came first was sound. And from sound evolved ether, and so on. All the other subtle and gross elements started to come into creation. So it actually started from the subtle element of sound, and that is the Om. Right? So we can see here that the Shankha chakra, or the Shank itself, represents the manifested creation, and it is the beginning of creation itself. And so how does the element of sound is very important. And specifically, the duty that sound has is to connect two objects. Right? When we speak, sound travels through space. And so the sound is the connection between things. Exactly. The microphone doesn't want sound to happen. So actually, the Shank also is connected to the water element. When we look at the forearms, it is the element of healing and of flexibility. Also, the Shank obviously comes out of the water. Yeah, it is naturally shaped within, by nature, so beautifully in the way that it is like a spiral. So in a way, it shows like water element is about going through life in a flexible way, because water changes. Sometimes it is solid when it is frozen. It is liquid in its normal state. It may evaporate, become gaseous. And so in life, we have to go through also in this mindset that no matter what comes in life, we adapt, we change. And life itself is directed, which is actually that which causes this creation to happen in the first place before sound is time. And so that spiral in the conch represents time also. That it is always keeps going. It never repeats itself, even in different yugas, as we look at time also in a spiral way. Right? It is always continuing, it is eternal, but it never repeats. It is never the same, exactly the same than it was before. So the Shank also shows those two aspects of acceptance of life and acceptance of time. So in terms of sound, as I said, it represents the Om, and it contains, as it gives sound, it is also connected to knowledge and wisdom, because that is how knowledge is transferred through sound. Yeah, and there's one example that I want to take, another example from the Bhagavatam, and that is in the story of Dhruva Maharaj. And there is different aspects in the way that he leaves home, and he contemplates on the Lord, and as he returns, there is a description of his darshan of the Lord. And so as Dhruva Maharaj had a darshan of the Lord, he was a small boy, he was a child, he was not very educated at the time. And so as he had his darshan, he was in awe of what he saw. But he wanted to worship him, but he was out of words. He couldn't utter any words or any eloquent, beautiful, knowledgeable words to describe what he would see, to glorify him, like Prahlad was doing when he saw Nrsimhadev. Right? And so he was just silent, which maybe is an experience many of us had also when we see Guruji, at least for me. Sometimes when you see Guruji and Guruji goes, ask something, usually just blank. For me, just even if you have questions before, at that moment, it's just nothing. It's just blank, right? So similarly, it was for Dhruva also. So as the Lord recognized his desire to glorify or speak, he did the following. And that's from Canto 4, chapter 9, verse 4. It says, although Dhruva Maharaj was a small boy, he wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Lord in a suitable language. But because he was inexperienced, he could not adjust himself immediately. The Supreme Lord, being situated in everyone's heart, could understand Dhruva Maharaj's awkward position, out of his causeless mercy, he touched his conch shell to the forehead of Dhruva, who stood before him with folded hands. And then after, he was able to worship the Lord with a suitable language. So we can see that with that example also, how the Supreme Lord transfers knowledge through the conch to Dhruva Maharaj, transfers the ability of language, of speech. And so that's also the connection that we showed here. So the conch represents also purification. So purification or transformation is usually seen through fire, right? Fire is transforming, but water is also transforming. So the conch, in that sense, I would say represents this initial beginning intuition or push to want to transform, until then fire takes over. That's what you can see in also in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, right, where everybody, in the very beginning, in chapter 1, everybody starts to blow their conches. As we said in the prayers, also at the time, at the beginning of war, also at the end, everybody would blow the conch as a sankalpa, in a sense, as an intention that, like, we are about to start. And so the effect that blowing the conch would have is to give courage on one side to yourself, to give confidence, and on the other hand, to strike fear into the hearts of the enemies, as we can see in the Gita, right? So we have the specific conch that the Supreme Lord is holding, or you could say Krishna is holding, has the name Panchajanya. So Panchajanya means born of 5. Yeah, Pancha, 5. So he said it is the representation of the pure notion of individuality, from which are evolved the principles of the 5 elements, which is a statement from the Padma Purana. So the Panchajanya is the Lord's conch. However, that we can see that each conch that is blown by the different characters and soldiers in the Mahabharata has a different name. So each has their own individual conch. So as it says in the first chapter, verse 15, 16, Krishna blew his conch, Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his, named Devadatta. And Bhima, the performer of terrible deeds, blew the great conch, Paundra. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch, Ananta Vijaya. And Nakula and Sahadev blew their conches, Sugosha and Mani Pushpaka. I don't know if Sahadev, did you call your conch Pancham Pushpaka? But the result that maybe our conch here is called Kailasha. No, blown by Kailash every morning. So the result that comes from blowing the conch is stated in verse 19. He says that the tumultuous uproar resounding through heaven and earth rent the hearts of Dhritarashtra's sons. So by the sound of the conch and the way that it is blown, strikes fear into the hearts of the enemies. And so that is what actually the conch also does. And that's what I see being the aspect of the conch in Guruji. It is that initial blowing of the conch that shakes the devotee, that makes the devotee, and that usually often, when we come into the contact of the Guru first, the first thing that happens that arises is fear. Right? Once the ocean starts to be churned, negativity has to come out also. And so once we come into contact with the inability that we have to change, the mind creates fear, because the mind doesn't want to change. Right? The ego doesn't want to transform itself. But it is inevitable once we meet Guruji. We have to change. And so that is both that we have to change that position of being afraid of that sound of knowledge that Guruji blows by his conch, but start to blow the conch ourselves. So not just absorb knowledge, because knowledge, as I said, the absorbing of knowledge creates fear in the mind also, but start to blow the conch, to give the knowledge, to apply the knowledge, to live the knowledge itself. That is how transformation will happen in itself. As I said, to blow the conch gives, for those who hear it, it renders fear. For those who blow it, it gives confidence, discrimination. So to blow the conch, similar actually with chanting, when we do the Sanskrit chanting, there's many different ways in how you can chant. You might actually have very good pronunciation, but if you chant in an insecure way, it will sound terrible, no matter how good you know it, even if you know it by heart, right? You have no idea. You think I have no idea what I'm doing, right? If you chant Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarnarajadasrajam, right? It comes across very differently. And it's same thing as with the Shankha also. If you blow the Shankh in an unconfident way, it will not work. It doesn't work, right? It will come out as a long stretched fart, right? I take, because it sounds like this sometimes, right? But if you have confidence, and if you have the knowledge, if you know how to do it, it will always come out properly. It will always come out nicely. And so the conch is also a great teacher of confidence. Because to blow the conch, as I said in the beginning, it takes overcoming of fear of, it's similar than we say the greatest fear of mankind is to public speaking or singing. Because you are seen and you might be vulnerable, right? You might make mistakes. The same thing with the conch also. You blow the conch terribly, everybody will hear you, right? If you blow it nicely, nobody cares, right? It says, okay, it's going, right? But if it's like, what is he doing, right? So it's also that overcoming of fear, to grow in confidence in our own self, in what Guruji has given us, and the knowledge that he has given us, and the strength that we take from applying it into our life. That is what, for me, the conch shows. Because through that knowledge, through that what Guruji gives us, the conch also is the tool of surrendering oneself to him. I remember many times when I would blow the conch, I would literally feel like I'm surrendering myself to him. I'm giving myself to him. Whatever is flowing through, it is flowing towards him. And it represents also the prana, the life breath. As a reminder, when we blow the conch, it is done with one breath, right? And so it's a reminder of we only have a certain amount of breath in our life. And at least that one breath, we consciously offer it to him. We blow the conch, we offer that breath directly to him as a service to attract him and to attract the devotees towards him. So it's blowing the conch is a great service, actually. And so if we do that service, we surrender to him, and we remind ourselves that we should think of him. We should, every breath, every action that we do in our life should be a service directly to him. But that was in short introduction about the conch. Jai Gurudev.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Dakshaha
Shilatankanakalaye
Shilatankanakalaye
Ito narsimo parato narsimo
Ito Narsimo Parato Narsimo
Yatto yatto yamitato narsimo
Yatto Yatto Yamitato Narsimo
Bahe narsimo hidaye narsimo
Bahe Narsimo Hidaye Narsimo
Narasimham Madim Sharanam Prapade
Narsimamadim Sharanam Prapadye
Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Abhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Pringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Tavakara Kamaravare Nakam Adbhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Jayo Narasimhadev 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 Jayo Narasimhadev
Jayo Narasimhadev 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 Jayo Narasimhadev
Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Bhakta Swarupa Jayo Prahlad Maharaj
Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Bhakta Swarupa Jayo Prahlad Maharaj
Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Sri Vishwananda Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda Gurudev
Sri Vishwananda Gurudev 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 Sri Vishwananda Gurudev
Gurudev Gurudev Gurudev Sri Vishwananda Gurudev Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me
Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me
Yatindraya Karunakaraya Mangala Mangala Me
Yatindraya Karunakaraya Mangala Mangala Me
Prapati Dharmikarataya Mangala Mangala Me
Prapati Dharmikarataya Mangala Mangala Me
Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatira Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me
Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me
Shaligrama Pratishtitaya Mangala Mangala Me
Shaligrama Pratishtitaya Mangala Mangala Me
Trinanatarini Gora Prajaya Mangala Mangala Me
Trinanatarini Gora Prajaya Mangala Mangala Me
Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me
Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me
Rangesha Kenkarataya Mangala Mangala Me
Rangesha Kenkarataya Mangala Mangala Me
Mananataya Darina Daraya Mangala Mangala Me
Mananataya Darina Daraya Mangala Mangala Me
Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me
Ramanuja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me Yatiraja Ramanuja Mangala Mangala Me
Mangala Mangala Me Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata
Meya Jaya Lakshmi Mata Tumako Disharina Sevata Tumako Disharina Sevata Ara Vishnu Vidata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Om Rama Brahmani Tumai Jagamata Meya Tumai Jagamata Sura Chandra Madhyavata Sura Chandra Madhyavata Narani Shigata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Durga Rupani Ranjani Sukha Sampati Data Meya Sukha Sampati Data Jo koi tumako javata Jo koi tumako javata Vidhi Siddhi Dhanapata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Tumapatala Vasini Tumahi Shagadata Meya Tumahi Sabadata Karma Prabhava Prakashini Karma Prabhava Prakashini Bhavani Vikidata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Kisagaramento Maratrim Sada Saraguna Ata Meya Sada Saraguna Ata Sada Sambhava Jodhyata Sada Sambhava Jodhyata Manana Ingalata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Tuma Vinayarna Nahote Vasrana Koi Pata Meya Vasrana Koi Pata Kana Pamata Vibhava Kana Pamata Vibhava Sabatuma Selata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Subhaguna Mandira Sundara Kiro Dhadidata Meya Kiro Dhadidata Radha Chadura Rasa Tuma Bina Radha Chadura Rasa Tuma Bina Koi Nahi Kata Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata Mahalakshmi Chiki Arati Chokoi Ganagata Meya Chokoi Ganagata Ura Ananda Samata Ura Ananda Samata Papa Uttaraga Mata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Jaya Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Tumako di Sadina Sevata, Tumako di Sadina Sevata, Para Vishnu Vidata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Jaya Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Tumako di Sadina Sevata, Tumako di Sadina Sevata, Para Vishnu Vidata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Jaya Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Tumako di Sadina Sevata, Tumako di Sadina Sevata, Para Vishnu Vidata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu Chasaka Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Prem se bolo Lakshmi Narayan Bhagavan ki, Prem se bolo Bhutabhrteshwarnath Mandir Bhagavan ki, Prem se bolo Shri Radha Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki, Prem se bolo Mavatar Priya Babaji ki, Prem se bolo Shri Ramanucharya ki, Prem se bolo Satguru Deva Sri Swami Vishwananda Mahaprabhu ki. Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Paraya Paramapurushaya Parakarma Mantrayanta Tantra Aushadani Sastrani Samara Samara Mrityo Mochaya Mochaya Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Yidhi Jvalapitaya Savadik Shabana Umpat Parasmane Parabrahmane Paramjyotishe Swaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Nityai Gaura Pramanande. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Sham Vikritamana Govinda. Gopi Jivana Sarana Govinda. Bhakti Vatsala Govinda. Govinda Govinda Govinda. Pundali Varadhare. Ekanath Namdev, Pandarinath Madhai Saki, Samasta Bhakta Mandali ki, Arvad Empanamana Tirakuvidaye Sharanam.